Hello, this is Kaiser Justice, and welcome to Village Idiot. It's a game that I started making solo actually about a month ago, back at the beginning of February. Uh, Basically, I've always wanted to make games, and this is my first foray into actually making and finishing a game 100%. I kind of recently started playing through One Dreamer again, a game about kind of like a failed game dev, and they're essentially kind of like Quest to Redemption, something along those lines. I haven't finished it yet. I do have a playthrough that I'm working on currently on the same channel here. But that game inspired me to actually create this game. I'm working on it as a way to have something to show to my son. He is 4 months old, and I want to have kind of like a just something to show him that this is what I made, and I'm hoping he'll like it, but it'd be interesting. Now, the game itself is going to be, as you see, a 2D side-scrolling platformer. Ignore this lady. She doesn't have anything. She's just there for testing. Her name is Willow. She's going to be the female lead. Her art style is going to be more, or the game's going to have more of a art style akin to her. The character on the screen right here. I don't really have a name for him yet. I've been calling him like Hank in my head, but he's going to have sprites updated to look more like hers. Anyway, the game is called Village Idiot, and you play as Hank the Village Idiot. The game, though, is going to be playing kind of like a reverse Metroidvania, which is where the inspiration for this actually came into play. Uh, there's so many like first-time games that people make that are just like Metroidvania style games, and I was just like, what would be the opposite? Like, what if you had a game where you started off with all the powers and you just gradually lose them one by one by one? And so that's where this idea came to fruition. The character starts off with multiple different abilities. First one, double jump. Uh, if you notice, he has predefined arcs. You cannot change angle mid jump. This is actually ripped off, taken from the Pringy game series back on the PSP, then re-released recently. Or I think recently, they may be coming out soon. But the Printy games, once you commit to a jump, you cannot get out unless you double jump in the opposite direction. In addition to that, the main character will also have a air dash. Uh, and so, like, the double jump is for getting up to higher areas, the air dash is for precision platforming. There'll be some areas that require one or the other. And lastly, the only other skill he has will be long jump. Now, the long jump is for horizontal distance. Uh, I made this little area right here to kind of show the idea. The goal is to make it for jumps you can't reach by double jumping because of like height restrictions, like so. Right now you can because I haven't actually worked it out. I may put like some kind of hurt blocks that prevent you from doing so. But what does a reverse Metroidvania entail? So as you progress through the game, your character slowly loses his abilities to do things. Essentially, it's called Village Idiot because he's the village drunk. Every day at the end of the day, or cycle, he gets drunk, does some shenanigans, and loses one of his items that causes him to have an ability. So what the game relies on is you to go up to areas and create shortcuts so you can access when you don't have the ability. So for example, this right here, these are just placeholder. Ignore the graphics; they're temporary. These are going to be vines that you could plant grass to create vines, or plant seeds to create vines so you can access. So if I lost double jump, I wouldn't be able to make it up there. Wow, that was a glitch. I'm still working on it. But without double jump and using these vines, I can make it up to here at least. And the oh no, the goal is to basically make it to where you have to consider how you're navigating. You do have limited number of seeds that you would be using, and there are going to be ways to earn more so that you can create more shortcuts and more paths. But for right now, it's just all limited. Now, the game takes place in cycles. There's going to be, I would say, probably about 10 cycles. Each cycle is going to end again with the character getting drunk, and for story reasons, and then afterwards he has some kind of detriment, be it from losing one of his navigation items, or even having something like controls flipped or camera zoomed super far in, things like that. And basically the goal again is to go through all 10 cycles. Right now there are two endings planned for the game. Uh, There may be more later, but I want to complete this game, so for right now, there's only going to be the two. As of right now, I have the basic character controller like 90% made. He still moves a little too loose for me. Like, I don't want to limit that a little bit so it doesn't like go that far at a slight tap. I do need to make out the little map. The game's going to take place in an area with a bunch of floating islands and stuff, and that's part of there's story reason for that as well. I need to finish making it and even doing like a parallax background, rebuilding assets, getting sprites for the character. It's a long-term project. I only have a little bit amount of time each day to work on it, and that is simply due to the fact that I am a new father and I have a 4-month-old baby boy, and he is my priority. So I only get like a couple hours to work on this every night, and I'm not the best artist. I also need to get some kind of music, probably be something calm and soothing, like a parallax background, and I ideally want to have each cycle time-based. And that time, you don't have a clock, but you have the sun in the sky going across the sky as kind of a clock to tell you how long you have. But for now, those are the current plans. This game's, like I said, been developed for about a month. A good chunk of that was navigating and getting him to climb through vines with ignoring the collision. But there's still, like I said, some glitches, like him jumping and his little box in front of him, which is where you go. It's just there as a visual to indicate where you can interact with things. That somehow getting caught on the vines and preventing movement. Things like that. So I'm working on it, but I wanted to at least show this off and gauge interest in the game, see what people thought. If they had any suggestions or comments, I'd love to hear them. Like I said, this is my first real game. I've had a couple small projects that I've made just for giggles, but nothing major. And I wanted to create something, like I said, kind of create my own legacy. But I hope you all enjoy, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Thank you for your time.